All right, what's up, guys? I know a lot of you saw my post about testing positive for COVID-19. That was roughly a week ago today. So I wanted to share an update video with you guys to let you know that I'm doing well. First and foremost, thank you all for your love and support, your kind messages, your prayers, your encouragement. Um, it was extremely heartwarming to know that people care so much about me and my family. We're all doing well. It was a rough a week or so there, and I feel bad for anybody who's had to go through this in the way that I have, or worse for that matter. So I wanted to do this update video with you guys, and I know a lot of people have questions, so I came up with a few questions that I thought maybe you guys would have and want to know answers to. So just to start, we followed all of the precautions, and we were actually following the precautions before COVID was even a thing because of my wife going through her treatments for cancer. She was already wearing a mask when we would go out. In fact, I remember going to Home Depot some time ago, and she was wearing a mask, and I mean, people would look at her like, she had the plague or something, or was a leper. So things have changed quite a bit in a short period of time. But I wore the cloth masks whenever I went out. Sometimes those little hospital masks when we can get them. I mean, I sanitized, the gas pump. I carried the little wipes with me, and I would use them to open the store doors. And yeah, I did as much as you possibly could. And my rationale for that was, one, I didn't want to be responsible for spreading anything if I could help it. And two, if something were to happen, I wanted to be able to say to myself that I took all the precautions that I could. That way I wouldn't have any guilt. So for me, it just made sense to follow as many of the guidelines as I could, even though, some of them seemed a little extreme at times. And how did I get it? I haven't the slightest idea. There's two people in our circle of friends that had symptoms almost the exact same time that I did, within a day or so. One of them had minor symptoms, like they lost taste and smell. The other one's actually in the hospital now, currently fighting pneumonia. Definitely praying for them. They've still got a couple weeks to go before they're out of it. I fell right in the middle somewhere. Mine started on June 29th with some night sweats and a fever, about 102 or so. I slept in the next day. Same thing that next night on the 30th. I had night sweats. I mean, I'm talking like somebody dumped a bucket of water on me, like a prank or something. It was serious, but I didn't feel sick or bad or anything. I was just sweating. So on the 1st of July, I got up in the morning and drove about an hour away to a free testing site put together by LabCorp, I believe. Went there probably, I don't know, I got there an hour or so before they opened. Stayed in line for probably 2 hours or something like that. Did the nose swab thing. And for those of you who are afraid of the nose swab, it's not that bad. I actually, the whole time I was in line, I kept getting a little anxious because I didn't want that thing shoved in my nose, because people were giving me all kind of stories about that. But it wasn't bad, at least in the case that I was in. So again, that was on the 1st, on Wednesday. On Thursday, the 2nd, I was like, well, my wife's condition. I found out about rapid testing because there's not, interestingly, as much information as you can find on the internet. It's hard to find good information, or at least pertinent to your area, at least my area, because mine's kind of rural, I guess. So I got up, I drove another hour. Actually, I got up they said people start lining up at 4 a.m, so you want to get there early. So I think I was there at like 3 or 3:30, and I had a little chair and sat in that chair right by the door, and people started lining up behind me. Took the test about 8:30, and that test came back negative, which made sense at the time because I was texting a friend, and I was like, I don't feel sick, so I must not got it. So I don't have really anything. symptom-wise. I may have lost my sense of smell at that time, but I guess it's not something you notice right away unless you're trying to smell something on purpose, just kind of something you take for granted, I suppose. Side note here at this testing facility, I was first person in line. They handed me an ink pen and a clipboard to fill out the paperwork, and then they passed it along down for hours and hours of people. So people were touching the same pen and clipboard that I had touched after sitting in line for several hours, sweating and whatnot. So that wasn't a good facility to have your test done out there. They weren't taking proper, at least in my opinion, that was an easy thing. They could have sanitized several pens or sanitized them before they passed them on or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so I still wasn't feeling too bad, but I slept in anyways, and kind of, I was feeling a little tired, I suppose. And I chalked it up to getting up at 3 a.m. to go sit in line, And my wife, they were actually in Sarasota most of that week. They were there with my mother-in-law, did a little mini vacation there, which is probably 2 hours south of where I'm at. So anyway, when they got back on Friday, my wife was experiencing some body pain. And that's really, we kind of knew, like, all right, she might have it, I might have it, but even though that test came back negative, I didn't trust it, because I was starting to feel a little funky at that point, plus with my wife having her issue. Result came back on Sunday, positive with the nose swab. And on that day, we both realized that we had lost our sense of taste and smell, which is such a weird thing. Nothing, zero smell. I could taste some things like salty for sure, like a chip or something tastes extremely salty. So I guess that's a heightened sense. I don't know. Following the positive, and that's when I shared the video with you guys, started experiencing fatigue, headache, cough, sinus pressure, stuffiness. It started getting bad at that point. The fatigue, when I'm saying fatigue, I mean like just getting up to make a bowl of cereal. I had to go lay back down and like out of breath, sweating, just from that one little activity. And it took a lot of energy. It felt like just to do those little things, taking a shower, you name it. I didn't get up. I just stayed in bed for several days, really. I didn't even post anything on social media. I barely checked it. I'd check it, and just the idea of writing a comment just exhausted me. It really did. And that stuff started fading up until really yesterday is when I started really feeling good, I suppose. So I was able to get out the house a little bit, still fighting some of the fatigue. I find myself sweating really easy. I don't know why that is or what that has to do with anything, but I don't know if that's just my body detoxifying or whatever. So I don't know. I was trying to think of some questions you guys might have. Obviously, you're going to be worried about my wife. She's doing fine. She lost her sense of smell and taste on really Friday. She had the body pains on the 3rd. So really our July 4th, we just hung out in bed. We didn't even watch TV or nothing. It was terrible. And then Sunday, when I released the video, she was having some of those body aches. And again, her sense of taste and smell haven't returned. But outside of that, she's up and at 'em. She's done laying in bed, I guess, after the cancer thing. My kids, they've had fevers and stuff, and one of them lost their taste and smell. But outside of that, nobody's been laid up or anything like that. So I don't know. We're a really close, interactive family. We hug, hold hands. We crowd up on the couch or on the bed and watch a movie together and stuff like that. So more than likely, if one of us have it, we're all going to have it. As far as what I did to get through it, hydration is number one. Hydrate yourself. So thirsty. I'm a gallon drinker. I drink a gallon a day anyways, as a habit of water. but I mean, I was drinking a gallon and a half. I mean, and still felt thirsty. It was pretty awful. My doctor, I have a list of stuff here that my doctor gave me. He's a root cause functional medicine doctor. So for 4 days, I was taking vitamin D3, 50,000 IU daily. Vitamin A, 100,000 units daily. Iodine, 15 to 25 milligrams daily. Vitamin C, 5,000 milligrams daily. Zinc, 100 milligrams daily. And something called transfer factor. I don't know what that is, but my wife handled most of that through our doctor has a portal, so she reached out to him and he prescribed all that for me, and I took it, and I don't know how much that had to do with a quick recovery or my experience being different than my friends. I don't know. All I do know is anything you can do to help your body fight it naturally, you should do it. I mean, honestly, most people are, as you know, vitamin deficient, dehydrated on a daily basis. Particularly when it comes to D3, most people are deficient in that. At least studies show that. So taking those kind of things are going to help you anyways. It's at least going to bring your body to its natural ability to fight rather than being in a deficit. Obviously prayer and that kind of thing. But if I could say one thing, if you're experiencing symptoms, regardless of how mild they might be, get the test. If not for your own sake, for the sake of those around you. You never know how it's going to affect people. Again, we have the 3 people in our circle. Sense of taste and smell is one symptom that was it, and then myself right in the middle, and then the other person is essentially fighting for their life. You don't know how it's going to affect people. And I can also tell you this too, the conspiracy theories and the anti-masks and all the stuff I read on Facebook, it reads differently now that I've had it, and now that I know people firsthand. Because honestly, prior to myself, I had only heard second and third hand stories about people with it. I didn't know anybody firsthand. So now I know people firsthand. Now I've been through it firsthand. And I could just, I would say definitely respect it. You use your discernment, take whatever precautions you deem necessary for yourself. I'm just saying, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Think about the weaker person around you. Think about the people who have immune deficiency or immune disorders, autoimmune disorders like myself or like my wife who had cancer, or there are people who have cancer who even the mildest form of this could have real negative and long-lasting effects on them. So I don't know, video's a little bit longer than I intended, but hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, just comment and I'll try to get back to them as soon as I can. I'd love to answer questions. I mean, I don't know much about this whole thing, but if you just want to hear from someone with firsthand experience going through it, feel free to ask. And again, thank you all so much. I mean, thousands of messages I've received in the last week or so, and I've read as many as I could, but I can tell by the subject line and the first sentences that everybody was just concerned about us. And sorry to leave you guys hanging, by the way. It was just, I couldn't get the energy even to even think about doing a video. This one was even hard, actually. I'm starting to wonder how recovered I actually am. But anyway, love you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next video.